Happenings as the members of parliament continue analyzing the budget. To be with you today, my name is Pauline Monga.
Thank you so much, and good morning to our viewers. My name is Joa Katama, and on our sign language interpretation desk we have Chola Kaoma and Jason Manda.
Yes, the meetings are taking place in various locations, both at Parliament and at Mulungushi International Conference Center. And this morning we are bringing to you the Committee on Media, Information and Communication Studies, which is being held here at Parliament buildings in Robinson in Nabuliato. Expected to appear before this committee is the Independent Broadcasting Authority and the Zambia News and Information Services. Right now we cross over to the committee rooms for live proceedings. Good morning.
And also, I think the Secretary didn't introduce themselves. Honorable Taengo.
Good morning, IBA. I'm Honorable Taengo, Member of Parliament for Kapata.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. I'm Leon Hangala from the Office of the Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. DG, you can go into your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. I just wanted to ask before I start my presentation if we can be allowed to get a few pictures just for on record.
No problem. Now or when after we finish?
No, as we go on.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Chair and members of the committee, the Independent Broadcasting Authority is established through an Act of Parliament, Act number 17 of 2007, and amended by Act number 26 of 2010 and Act number 17 of Act number 18 of 2017 to basically regulate the broadcasting industry in the country. So the authority came operational in July 2013. Honorable Chair and members, with reference to the 2024 budget balance level among radio and television stations. Further, Chair, the authority has undertaken sensitization and capacity building workshops. The activities were undertaken in Q1 and Q2 of this year, and we covered Southern, Copper Belt, Northwestern, Northern, Luapula, Western, and Central. Further, the authority has undertaken routine inspections, and this is for all radio stations, in total 220 across the country, to heighten compliance with the IBA Act. The aforementioned activities have led to improved awareness of the authority's mandate and increase in compliance levels among licensees in line with the strategic objectives number 1 and 3 of our strategic plan. Chair, the authority is also repealing and replacing the IBA Act number 17 of 2002 to address the challenges posed by technological advancement and convergence lacunae in the IBA Act to provide for regulation of public broadcasters such as ZNBC, reform the licensing framework, among others. The authority has also done a regulatory impact assessment of the IBA bill and met all the requirements set by the Business Regulatory Review Agency. The process of repealing and replacing the IBA Act, Chair, is currently at legislative drafting stage. Chair and members, the authority also commenced implementation of the Broadcasting Monitoring Project, Phase 2, in June of this year. In this regard, we have since secured 67 sites for hosting radio and sub-monitoring centers in Western Province, Northwestern, Eastern, Wapula, Mchinga, and Northern Provinces. We are currently, Chair, undertaking surveys for radio and television monitoring in conjunction with relevant stakeholders and partners. So the sites I'm referring to, Chair, would be located at police stations in the provinces that I've just mentioned. Honorable Chair and members, the authority bemoans the tragic loss of the Director General, Mr. Guntile Mleya. May his soul rest in peace. His demise impacted our operations and our performance in the third quarter, specifically because our offices were closed to allow the investigative wings to undertake an investigation. In terms of financing, Chair, I am pleased to inform you that the authority has been fully funded for the first 3 quarters of this year, and the smooth cash flow has enabled us to undertake our activities very well. Chair and members, coming to the 2025 budget, the budget ceiling that the Ministry of Information and Media allocated to IBA is 78,580,000 kwacha. So the authority's total budget for the year 2025 is 85,080,000 kwacha. An addition of 4.5 million and 2 million is expected to be realized from license fees and TV levy, respectively. Chair and honorable members, this is on the assumption that the Treasury shall fulfill its obligation to release the grant at 100% to IBA. The expenditure, Chair, is broken down in 3 major components. These are personal emoluments, operations or recurrent charges, and capital expenditure. The budget allocation by department is indicated in a table on page 3. Chair, in order to improve service delivery and promote good corporate governance, the authority has scheduled various training for personnel. This is envisaged to improve and enhance performance in the execution of our mandate as the authority. Over the years, the broadcasting sector has grown, so has the authority. Assessments have shown, Chair, the need to grow the organization structure to provide for requisite number of staff and skills required for optimal performance of the authority. So we did consult Management Development Division, and it was resolved that we undertake the revision of our structure and provide for the relevant positions next year in the first quarter. It is worth noting, Chair, however, that based on the strategic plan, execution of scheduled work for 2025 will be hampered due to the restrictive budget ceiling, as the authority will not be able to employ the staff that I alluded to earlier. Honorable Chair and members, the main activities scheduled to be undertaken in 2025 budget allocation are as follows. 1, we are going to continue licensing new broadcasting stations. We are going to also continue inspections and monitoring to enhance compliance among licensees. And we are going to undertake publicity and awareness activities, and also continue with a capacity building and sensitization. We also intend, Chair, to continue the automation for improved business operation, business continuity, and disaster recovery, and also undertake some activities, Chair, to promote good governance as well as enhance risk management. Honorable Chair and members of the committee, the 2025 budget presents the authority with opportunities to achieve various strategic goals outlined in the 2023 to 2027 strategic plan. 2025 is an election year, or I should say that it's just a year before we go to elections, which calls for heightened inspections on our part to see that radio and TV stations across the country are adhering to our set standards. We also intend to conduct training and capacity building, and also continue to enforce compliance. Further, Chair, the broadcasting monitoring project has been fully funded, thereby presenting the authority an opportunity to expeditiously implement it. However, Chair, these key activities will put a strain on the authority workforce due to inadequacy in terms of our numbers. Right now, Chair, the committee may wish to note that we are sitting at about 50, to be specific, it should be 55. Honorable Chair and members, it is worth noting, however, that the performance of the authority may be hampered also because of the restrictive budget that we alluded to earlier. Additional information, Chair and members, on the 2025 budget is attached to the document that we presented to the committee. I submit, Chair, and I beg to move.
Thank you very much, ma'am. First of all, before that, one more member just joined us. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Good morning, IBA. My name is Mushanga Sydney, Member of Parliament for Wacha in Kabwe of Central Province. You are very much welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Members, area of clarification, but before that, DG, your whole presentation, you have talked about the strategic plan. Where is the copy? We don't have the copies.
We carry. Chair, we have a soft copy, but we can share hard copies with the members after the meeting.
Okay, thank you, members.
Thank you, Chairperson. IBA, from your presentation, and I can tell that you have actually been funded in the past 3-4 years. You've been funded handsomely, and I think for 2025 budget, the money that you've requested, you have not highlighted in terms of transport challenges. So do you as an institution have enough vehicles that will enable you to carry out your operations in different provinces? Because the only challenge that you have insisted is the issue of staffing levels. What about transportation? Have you made that request from the Treasury for transport?
Okay, you can take on. Yes, Honorable Maliki.
Thank you, Chairperson, and DG, thank you for your elaborate presentation. DG, my thinking is that IBA should be seeking to be self-sustaining, so to speak, considering that you are able to generate some revenue through fees and TV levy. But I'm noting that the amount that you are saying you're able to generate is, according to the additional information, is around 6.5 million. So of the total of 85 million, only 6.5 million is what you're able to generate, and the rest of it is coming through to you in form of grants from government. However, in your submission, you still want to employ more staff so that your budget even increases. I was thinking you will be looking at how best you are able to deliver and work out within what you have. I think from your submission, you are telling me, you are telling the committee that you are doing inspections and on about 229 stations, something like that. So for the 229 stations, and your staff is around 55, somewhere there. I was hoping that you would be looking at how best do you maximize your staff to ensure that you are able to manage this, and like wanting to increase on your workforce so that your budget even increases further. So my question to you is, how do you intend to be self-reliant, or you are solely going to be dependent on funding like this? You don't have that intention of being self-sustaining from the resource you'll be able to generate. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. You can respond to us.
Thank you, Chair. Concerning us putting up a request to Treasury for transport, we haven't done that. we were given a seeding, and we were hoping from that seeding that we could allocate some funds for purchasing motor vehicles. However, we have a project that I had mentioned, the broadcasting monitoring project. So that is coming with some vehicles. In total, it should be 5 vehicles. So we intend to utilize those in 2025. And if we have to make a request, it will be maybe in 2026. But for 2025, Chair and members, we are covered through the project that I mentioned. Thank you. Then coming to the second question, I will allow Director License to come in and assist in answering that one. And also Director HRI at some point.
Thank you very much, Chairperson and Honorable Murariki, for that question. I think it is a desire of every institution to be self-sustaining, and also as an authority, we've been looking at ways in which we can boost our revenues so that we reduce, or we keep reducing on reliance on the grant. However, we also face a catch-22 situation, because in regulation, again, you want to try as much as possible to avoid being compromised, because there could be situations where we may decide to go into partnership with certain institutions that will be willing to fund us, but then they'll be they'll be telling us the terms of engagement, or the rules of engagement, and some of those might go contrary to what the authority desires, or what the law says we should be doing, because the law talks about being independent, that we have to be independent in the decision making. So we try as much as possible to be very, very careful, even when donor funding is offered to us, because some of it comes with some conditions. But we're looking within our internal internal operations. We alluded to the issue of the broadcast equipment, that we could try as much as possible monetize, so that we can reduce on reliance. However, again, we've done some research across the globe in terms of broadcasting regulation, or any form of regulation. To a greater extent, the funding is usually from the Treasury. I think it's for the reason that we alluded to, but that does not stop us from raising extra revenue, because even the Act itself allows us to engage into activities that can boost our revenue. So we'll take your advice, and they'll look through ways in which we can boost our revenue. Thank you, Chair.
Chair, let me just allow Director HR to just come in to speak to the staff.
Okay.
The Chair, through ADG and the committee members, the organization structure for IBA currently stands at 50. And out of these 50, we have 38 members of staff who are present, meaning that 12 positions are still vacant and they are yet to be filled. In our budget for 2024 and 2025, we have budgeted for the 50 positions. So even when we recruit, we will not go outside the grant, we will be within the grant, because these are already budgeted for positions, and some of these positions just fell vacant in the previous 3 months. I submit, Chair and the members.
Okay, thank you very much. Just a clarification on the monitoring part of it. What do you actually monitor? Is it the radio and TV stations, or is materials which are presented on those stations? Because I've listened to some radio, there's a lot of offensive language which is used there, and I don't know whether it's part of you monitoring that, or I just want a clarification on that one.
Thank you, Chair, for that question. We do monitor content, and also if at all radio stations are on air or off air. But let me allow Manager Technical to come in just to explain, because he's in charge of that project. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, DG. So indeed, the broadcasting monitoring system that we have in place monitors broadcasting content. So in terms of what is being used to monitor, the system has intelligence to detect some of the configured languages, words in English. So currently we are just using English language. Of course, in future we will incorporate local languages. Then the other aspects of monitoring that we do have is through the inspectors, as the system is also able to translate the audio to text. And then in the text that is translated, those words that do not meet the criteria set in the dictionary are flagged out, and then the inspector is able to follow up with such airing stations to bring them to compliance. And also as per provision in the IBA Act. Then of course the other aspects that we have in the system is that we're able to do security monitoring for radio, where if a radio station or any broadcasting entity that may be broadcasting but they are not licensed, because all we have in the database are licensed. So those ones that are not licensed, the system is able to flag. Then we're able to follow up, as it can also show us the exact location where such broadcast is emanating from. Further, we are also able to store the recordings. So in an event that the non-compliance issue and there is a non-compliance issue and licenses are called, say, for a hearing, we're able to use the recordings to replay it as it was broadcast as evidence against such airing licenses. So in a nutshell, that's what the system does. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. DG, in your presentation, you have noted that 2 million kwacha is expected to be realized from TV levy. I want to just find out, how are the compliance levels? How sure are you that this money will be collected? Thank you.
Maybe you can take another one, Honorable Mushanga.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Again, IBA, thank you very much for your presentation. Chairperson, just of interest, especially that there's too much propaganda when it comes to social media on daily basis, every second, minute. There's too much propaganda on social media. So first, acting IBA Director General, I would want to seek for a confirmation. I saw a press release on IBA granting all radio and television stations a cooling off window. First, I would want to understand if it was released by you because of the preamble that I have given on propaganda on social media. Then secondly, if it was released by you, how does the same press release on IBA granting all radio and television stations a cooling window released on 2nd October, I think that is yesterday, affects the revenue correction, especially that the cooling off window, according to that document, is for 90 days or for 3 months. Then the last one, Honorable Chairperson, just in line with the same. How do we explain as representatives of the people, in simple terms, because already we are receiving texts by our people wanting to know the implication of disseminating, entertaining, and communicating information via radio and television to the people that we represent out there, the constituents, not only in Bwacha, but the country at large. I submit, Honorable Chairperson.
Okay, thank you. There are 3 in that, but maybe I had another one. If you check on the page 3, the budget itself, 2024 and the 2025. 2025, they reduced. We know that in most cases, the budgets, they increase, but here, in your case, you have reduced. Then a motivation for that. Because we have got last year, or this year, we've got 85 million, 114,000. Now next year I've got 85,080. Is there any motivation for that reduction? Thank you. Can you respond to that?
Thank you, Chair. We'll start with the question on the TV levy, how sure we are if we are going to realize that amount. And also, I think we will marry this question to the budget reduction and what the motivation is. I'll invite our acting manager finance to take up those two questions and also direct communications in terms of the statement that we issued yesterday. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So in terms of the budget, the ceiling from the government through the Ministry of Information and Media remains the same for both years, 2024 and 2025, which is 32 million. Nonetheless, the monies that we collect through TV levy and license fees, we have seen a reduction on the TV levy side, and this variance is basically attributed to the load shedding situation that you've had, because the collection is through pay TV providers. So there's been a reduction in the number of subscribers on the platform that have been reported over the years. So in terms of the question as to whether we will meet this projection of 2 million collection through TV levy, it is attainable. In terms of our projections, we based it on the patterns of the minimal collection that we have experienced this year so far, and then we had to use that, being on the pessimistic side, looking at the situation at the moment. So we had to use that to project for the coming year. So I say an attainable target, so we can put. Then in terms of the reduction, basically, as I wind up, we have seen that while the license fees is projected to grow from the previous year, which is 2024 with respect to 2025. So for next year we are expecting a growth in license fees, but for TV levy it's subject to reduction, as we have also noticed from January to date there's been a reduction proportionally. I submit. Thank you.
Okay.
Director Combs.
Thank you, the chairperson. So with regards the cooling off window, the IBA has been engaging different stakeholders in the sector, including broadcasting stations themselves, and we have noticed that they have been challenged in terms of their operations due to the current load management that is being implemented. So already their revenue is being affected because of the current load shedding that the country is facing right now. So because of that and our interactions with them, both parties realize that there's need to give the stations a breather or respite in order to reduce the operational costs, because those that were running 24/7, they were using other sources of energy such as gensets, and with gensets comes also the high cost of fuel. So this was also impacting in terms of impacting them negatively in terms of their revenue generation. So what has happened now is that when this matter came before the IBA board, it was decided that stations be given this cooling off window from midnight to 06. It is not mandatory. It is for those stations that are being impacted heavily in terms of continuing their operations 24/7. They are able to switch off at midnight and commence at 06. Those that can continue operating 24 hours per day are free to do so. So this is the window that the authority has given, and it will be for a period of 3 months. Thank you, Chair.
Okay.
Maybe, Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, just a follow-up. The other part has not been responded to. I appreciate your responses, but doesn't that cooling window, or how does it affect also your revenue correction? Because we are talking about money coming into the IBA. Yes, we know in various aspects of life, this load shedding has affected nearly everyone. So how does it affect your revenue correction? And also, I don't know, Honorable Chairperson, I'm just trying to think outside the box. Doesn't that also affect loss of jobs? Thank you.
Okay, before that, I think I've been joined by another member. If you can introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Apologies for the delay. I'm shuttling between two committees. And IBA, you're sincerely welcome to the Committee on Media, to the Committee on Media. My names are Chanda Katotobwe. I'm Member of Parliament for Luapula constituency in Lunga District, Luapula Province. I thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can take another one from Honorable Taka.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Thank you, IBA, for your submission. I was listening very attentively